course, we're here with Brendan Allen, strength and conditioning coach, arm wrestler, and power lifter, who helped Dumpling get ready for his debut at Power Slap number 8. How you doing today, my man?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. It was truly an awesome event to watch in person. And just so we're clear, I didn't need to do much training for Dumpling. He was ready. We just had to get him warmed up. You know what I mean?
I'll be honest. I was a little bit worried, even when he got to America, hitting the watermelon and seeing him. I mean, he was doing a lot of stepping. So whatever you guys worked on, he obviously was able to pull that back a little bit and be able to deliver the flawless strike that he did. You said you didn't do too much for him, but I seen you there, at the arm wrestling table. Talk to me about that, and how strong was that man when you felt them?
Yeah, so Vasilii's very new to the arm wrestling scene. Maybe dabbled in it for like a year, but nothing serious, just kind of playing on the table and maybe done some small tournaments and stuff. So I didn't know what to expect meeting him. Devin Larrett shot me a text and was like, hey, Vasilii's in town. He's the slap fight guy from Russia. I'm like, I know who Vasilii is. And he's like, you mind if I give him your number? Gave him my number. Vasilii hit me up. And then we ended up meeting at Sin City Iron and to do some arm wrestling training. So like I said, I wasn't sure what to expect. And, I'm a pretty big guy. And when I seen him get out of the car, I was like, that's a big dude. That's a big boy. So he's round and has a lot of size to him. And his hand is abnormally large and thick, like a lot of weight behind it. So I figured he would be pretty strong on the table. I just wasn't sure how strong. And when we got on the table, I got to see how strong he really is. And that boy's got some power.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Great to hear. Talk to me about arm wrestling training and how the crossover can come into Power Slap, and you see a real true benefit in doing so.
Yeah, so I think a lot of strength sports, especially even arm and hand, prominently strength sports, are going to have a good carryover into the slap fight world. Just the thickness and the heaviness of your hand. Like, if you hit someone with the pillow at the same speed you hit with the brick's going to hurt more because it's denser and harder and more weight, right? So the heavier and thicker and denser your hand is, the more that's going to translate through the kinetic energy through a slap. So arm wrestling is very hand dominant sport, and arm, which are both going to be factors into the slap fight. So, I don't necessarily think like, a great arm wrestler is going to be a great slapper, but if a guy knows how to slap and he gets better at arm wrestling, his hand and stuff are going to get stronger, and it's definitely going to be some carryover.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a carryover, like, in regards to, recruiting, the whole shoulder girdle, even trying to incorporate some of that lat into it. And I know some of the techniques, obviously you guys are able to hold on to the table, and, different techniques you can do with your lower body. But I know that you are a competitive power lifter as well. I see you doing, the bench, squat, deadlift.
Oh yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. Is there some crossover there that you think can also be applied into this world?
Yeah, sure. So power is power, right? And in a sport like powerlifting, it's a very explosive-based sport. You move big weight very, very fast and a long range of motion through a compound movement. So if you're explosive, I mean, again, you have that type 2 muscle or type 1 muscle fiber, and you've been training it, and it's just, there's going to be some carryover. And then obviously the stronger you are, not necessarily the stronger you can hit, because you still have to remain mobile. I would say like someone that's totally bulked up and massive in their peak of powerlifting form is going to suffer in their ability to move. But someone that's strong and trains powerlifting and then also, does the slap and, you can actually move through the full range of motion, it's going to be a carryover. And it's just, strength to strength, and if you press more, your shoulders are going to get stronger, your pecs, your hands, your triceps, everything. And it's all going to, there's all going to be a carryover. Even if it's not huge, there's going to be carryover.
Mm-hmm. Being there, seeing it live, would you ever consider getting up there?
Up until that moment, I would say no way. I was like, when I would see it and I'd see guys doing it, I'm like, hey, man, there's just no way I can't do it. But then after, training with Vasilii, and then watching slap fight more, my buddy Grizzly out of California, he does slap fight as well. He's another 400-something pound monster. Yeah, Casey Stevens, who I've arm wrestled. We had a super match last year in October. I beat him, but he was a lot. He was a lot of work for me to get through him. But I'm sorry, where was I going with that a little bit? I kind of got off track.
I was just saying, would you ever get up there?
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. So again, up until I went, no way, not a chance. But being there in the moment and seeing the hype and kind of feeling it, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's pretty cool. And then, Larry Wheels, shortly after that slap fight, was out here in Vegas and did some slap fighting with the crazy Hawaiian.
Yeah.
Seeing that was cool. Me and Larry have a little bit of a history. We competed in powerlifting. We competed in arm wrestling as well. So I comment on there. I'm like, Larry, what's up, man? You want to slap? So if it could be someone like that, I'd totally be down.
Awesome, man. I mean, Dana's talked about trying to get some more social media influencers and celebrities into the sport. And so maybe one day we'll see it. But let's play back the video because I want from your perspective, I want you to commentate for me through it, what you were seeing and thinking from your perspective as Vasilii was up there.
Okay, so he's getting ready to wind up on this giant Polish dude, and we were nervous for him because this guy's huge. And we're wondering if Vasilii could even reach across the table, but here it comes. Boom. And I mean, it was instantaneous. The crowd erupted. It was so cool. There was guys near us that were like saying, like, fuck Dumpling. They weren't like fans of him and talking shit. As soon as he laid that hit, everyone went nuts and everyone else got real quiet.
Yeah, I mean, it was, phenomenal to see. Dana touted him, and I mean, he performed admirably. Obviously, for the crowd, couldn't have a better way to go about it. But being part of that camp was a kind of extra special, because he came from small town Siberia. I think he took 6 or 7 different flights to get here. Didn't really know anybody. Obviously, couldn't speak the language. I'm sure he probably showed up with his translator. Do you feel extra special for that guy to be able to overcome everything he had to be able to be here?
Totally. I traveled a lot in powerlifting, and when I was 370 pounds, and just massive and swollen, like traveling takes a lot out of you. When you're a big guy, the elevation, the swelling and stuff, it's magnified, right? Like let's say it's like you swell up a percentage point. The bigger you are, the more swelling that is. So I know how tough it is to travel when you're a big fellow like him. I'm sure he doesn't fit in a seat comfortable. For him to come to the States, do all the stuff he did, mind you, like I had to pull back on what we were doing training on arm wrestling. I was like, dude, you have a slap in a weekend. Let's not get your arm too tired. But the guy kept wanting to work. He kept wanting to improve and try things. He ended up coming to my house. We did all my grip tools and arm wrestling specific stuff. So again, the goal was not to wear him out too much, but then to be there, I knew he had 5 days rest going into it and watch it all come forth and everything built up. And he got some slaps in here at the house on the bag, just to get that, the central nervous system firing. It was just cool to see, man. It was cool to see because he looked dusty when he got here. When he left here, he looked confident, and you see him up there and do what he did. And then right when he hit the slap, he looked over at me and my wife. I was like, we were so fired up. It was really cool.
Awesome, man. Do you think you're going to work with him in the future?
Oh yeah, definitely. We keep in contact. He tells me every time he comes to Vegas, he's just going to hit me up and come to my house. So every time he's in town, I guess we'll be putting out some training videos.
Awesome, man. I'm sure you've seen, world-class athletes across a variety of genres in your life. Seeing him, getting up with him at the table, like you said, seeing him train. Do you think he's one of those special world-class athletes? And do you think he's ready for the Crazy Hawaiian?
I think that Vasilii could excel at any sport that he puts his mind to, as long as it's not a cardiovascular cardiorespiratory sport. So anything strength-based, explosive-based, I think Vasilii would excel at if he wanted to get into grip sport, into arm wrestling, slap fight, any of that kind of stuff. I mean, we've seen video of him in Russia doing bare knuckle boxing and all kinds of stuff. So the guy's a stud. He's got balls of steel. The Crazy Hawaiian is no small order. That is a man I would not want to be slapped against. And, and when I have to slap his giant head, I feel like it'd break my hand. But it's going to be cool to see that. I'm really looking forward to it. I plan on being there for that one. So when that happens, I'll do my best to be there and give you some more feedback on the whole experience.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you joining me. One last one for you. Anybody watching this, anybody in the Vegas area that wants to train with you, either powerlifting, strength training, conditioning, or even slap, where should they hit you up?
Instagram's the best place to get a hold of me. My Instagram is Brandon Allen Filthy Power, all one word. My YouTube channel as well, it's the same thing, Brandon Allen Filthy Power. If you guys want to check out my stuff, shoot me a message on Instagram and I'll do what I can for you, and we'll get you doing what you want to do to improve yourself.
Awesome, my man. Appreciate you joining me. Great insight. Take care.
Thanks for having me.